Hey, welcome back to our show. You know, I've gotten a number of emails in recent weeks about this whole WikiLeaks scenario. What do I think about Julian Assange, this Danish guy who releases all this classified information? Is he a traitor? Should he be tried? And we're really beating up on the guy. And there's certainly great reason to show concern over the release of these very sensitive documents. But I guess here's my concern. Here's what I have to say about it. The larger question of how an Army private can gain access to all this secret material. I mean, a lot of material here that he gets a hold of, and apparently he walks in with a Lady Gaga CD and downloads all this information on his Lady Gaga CD and walks out the door with some 250,000 classified, into some instance, secretive documents. We spend $80 billion a year involving the complex of our national defense. $80 billion. And yet this private, who I guess has a security clearance, and that's a question that should be asked, how many people have security clearances, number one? Number two, most of the documents that I read over didn't seem all that classified. It was opinions of what someone thought of such and such an ambassador or someone in a particular government entity. Some of the stuff was a little embarrassing, but it's the kind of stuff that we see all the time happening amongst all governments. The same things we do, the Israelis do to us. Even our friends like the British do things, keep an eye, a video, a dossier on things we're doing over here. That's all in their particular national defense. How can a private just walk in, take a Lady Gaga CD and download hundreds of thousands of sensitive documents? So Assange is the bad guy. We're beating up on him. There is a huge problem there, I understand. But, you know, are we getting our money's worth out of the $80 billion per year we're spending on the national intelligence services? And you know, I kind of wonder about that. And then you've got the bigger question. Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, did not steal the documents. He gets the documents and he publishes them. Well, if he's to be convicted of the crime of publishing this information, he didn't steal it. What does this say about First Amendment rights, and where do you draw the line? Going back to Vietnam, Daniel Ellsworth. Ellsworth steals all these sensitive documents he has access to, just like this private does in the WikiLeaks scenario. He gives them to the New York Times. The New York Times publishes these documents, as does the Washington Post and a whole series of other papers. What's the difference? I don't see much difference. So maybe you can convict some way you protect your secrets and the fact that certain sensitive information is not a crime. I know over the years we've had presidents like John Kennedy and a variety of presidents who've called these newspapers saying, look, we're aware of the fact that you've got some very sensitive documents. It's not in the national interest for them to be printed. We hope you'll use some common sense in what you print and what you don't print. And usually something is worked out along that vein. But to say that you are guilty of a crime because you've got the documents and you print them, what kind of intimidation is involved? And am I to be told as a radio talk show host that I can't talk about certain subjects? I mean, I'm talking about Assange. If I start going through the documents right now, then I am disseminating them through the media. Am I guilty of a crime? I mean, where do you draw the line in a series like this? Joseph Lieberman, U.S. Senator from Connecticut, says that he's urged the administration to consider charges against the media outlets that produce news articles based on the leaked documents. In other words, the documents come out, they've been leaked. Now, what Lieberman is saying is anybody that disseminates the leaked documents is guilty of a crime. So we'd be right here at this radio station guilty of a crime if we started reading these documents that in some instances are considered sensitive. Again, I've read most of the documents over, not most of them, 250,000. I've not read all of them, but I've read a number of them. And a lot of it is just gossip. We've had Robert Gates, who is the Secretary of Defense. He's been in the CIA, running the CIA for many, many years at a top echelon level. His attitude is there's not much in there that really does any harm. So, you know, if you go to the Espionage Act, the Sedition Act, going back in the 1917s about releasing documents, there is some law in place, but you've got to do so with the intent of causing harm, number one, than actually causing harm. Well, what was Assange's intent? Did he want to cause harm. He says he just wanted the truth to get out there about some of the ways we're undertaking this war. And we've seen that going back to the weapons of mass destruction getting us into Iraq, there are some questions raised about whether or not you can believe your government. Look, I'm no wide-eyed liberal on this thing, but I'm in the media. I disseminate information, and I think we've got a government, both Democratic and Republican, who need to do a much better job of protecting the sensitive documents that we have. $80 billion a year. $80 billion, and a buck private can walk into the door, apparently has complete secrecy clearance, can take a Lady Gaga CD, download hundreds of thousands of documents, and send them out. That's where the problem lies, because, you know, with the day of the internet and disseminating information, the guy is overseas, and then since I think they've caught him, but if he doesn't do it, there are thousands of others over the internet that will. So we're going to be running down these people releasing documents. We're going to go after the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Jim Brown, who talks about the documents, and any other talk show or media host or personality. And that's all we're going to do. The buck ought to stop with seeing that these documents are protected to begin with. Way too many classified documents. You don't stamp classified in every single document out there to begin with. And then the ones you do, you protect. That's the bigger question. And if we don't do that, we're going to have this fight going on for a long, long time to come. Lady Gaga CD, and you can steal all the documents. Hey, something stinks in Denmark, and Denmark's the nation's capital, where those who are leading us, and I said both Republicans and Democrats are blamed, those who are leading us need to do a much better job of protecting what we have. That's my thought on it. That's my answer to your emails. If you disagree, let me know. You can email me, jb@jimbrownusa.com. I'll read your emails on the air. That's all we're going to go with right now. So let me hear from you. We'll come back right after this message.